Hey everybody, I am here with Lieutenant Colonel E. Ray Moore. He is the founder of the Exodus Mandate. He's the chairman of the public school exit.com, which I'm involved in, and he is one of the visionaries who first saw the need over 2 decades ago to get the children out of the public schools. He's recognized before most of the people involved in this fight that the schools couldn't be reformed. They were doing exactly what they were established to do. Ray, it's an honor to have you. Thank you very much for being with us.
Great being with you at this Red Pill conference. I've heard about these, but never attended one. This is one of the better events I've been to, and thank you, and I'm glad I was able to get some time here with you and other leaders.
Excellent. Well, it's been great to have you here, Ray. Now, the world has really changed since we last interviewed you for The New American. We had been talking about, the need to get more people into homeschooling, Christian schools. Suddenly COVID comes along and everything changed. The homeschool population has doubled just in the last 6 months or so. How are you feeling about everything that's going on? Are you optimistic now? Is this a good thing that's happened? What's the deal?
Really excited. I'm 77 now, been doing this 25 years, and I shouldn't be so excited. Now, I regret the COVID situation, as bad as it is. We know it's probably exaggerated, but still it's created panic. But it's been a blessing to our movement because 55 million children suddenly were sent home. And prior to that, there were maybe less than 3 million homeschooled children in America, maybe 1.5 in Christian schools and other schools. Maybe less than 13% were in private Christian or home schools. And now it's 55 million, and we have reason to believe that 10% are now planning to stay home permanently and homeschool, and it could increase to 10, 15% more. And we're looking at a 8 to 10 to 12 million increase in homeschooling and K-12 Christian schooling. This is a once-in-a-100-year event, and I hope your audience will realize that they need to be reaching out to their family, friends, churches, and encouraging them not to go back to Pharaoh's school system.
Excellent. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you, Ray. This really is an incredible moment in history. One of the things that is coming up now, and we've seen indications that this was coming, I actually watched it happen in Sweden, is the voucher thing. And a lot of very well-meaning conservatives and Christians, people who you and I agree with on just about everything, have really been sucked into this idea of vouchers. In fact, you put me in touch with, and Diane Douglas, the former superintendent of public instruction in Arizona, with Congressman Trent Franks, who wrote the original school choice bill. He's been very, very active on this front. And he expressed concerns about these vouchers, warning that this, and he says he supports any mechanism to get kids out of school, he said he supports, but he had this big concern that once the public dollars start flowing to private schools, to home schools, they will inevitably eventually come under the control of government. Do you think that's a real risk? Is that what's coming? And how seriously do we need to take this threat?
Yes, it is a risk, and it's more, the Republicans are more inclined to do this than the Democrats. The Democrats see vouchers as a threat against the control or monopoly they have over all education, but true conservatives like me see the voucher as a threat to the autonomy of the homeschool and Christian school movement. And there, as you said, there's a very bad history here, and a lot of conservatives don't realize it, and they see the voucher as the main mechanism to bring about school choice, which is a kind of a benign term. We use the term education freedom. We prefer that, but they want to bring minorities and people who can't afford private education into private education. They see that being done by vouchers where they would get state or federal grants. Well, once they start doing it, then they'll be enticing middle-class people who could afford their own education onto a new kind of a welfare program. And this is a new entitlement program, and it will eventually wreck private education. So we've got to do everything we can to protect the homeschool movement and Christian schools from not taking the voucher and even to oppose it as a policy item.
Excellent. And, I think most of the major homeschool organizations, including the HSLDA, have been adamant about, we don't want tax money for our homeschoolers because that's going to mean government control of our homeschoolers, and that's important. Ray, in the last couple of minutes we have left here, just give us a short soundbite. Why should a parent be concerned, and why do they need to take their child out of public schools?
With the Exodus Mandate, we're a Christian group. We first of all take a theological or biblical position, and we say the education of children has been assigned to the family with assistance from the church or with private associations. In government, state government most normally, and of course the federal government too, has no ordained authority to educate children, especially at the K-12 level. So we've surrendered that. It's a church family function. And it worked well early in American history. That was the only system we had until about 1840. And we had a universal education program in America based on private free market model. So that's the first and principal reason. But now the schools have become terrible and positively harmful to Christian values and constitutional thinking, and they are indoctrinating our children. And this problem has really accelerated in the last 15 or 20 years. And I want to thank you. You documented this in a recent issue. It was a February issue of New American Magazine called Rescuing Our Children. And I appreciate you letting me participate in the project. And it's called Rescuing Our Children, and it's 10 articles, and you wrote half of them, I wrote one, Duke Pesta did two, and then Israel Wayne two, and it's probably the best single tool that we've seen so far in 25 years of this ministry. Kudos to New American for letting you do that.
Well, thank you very much, Ray. It was a pleasure to work with you, an honor to work with you. It's amazing how you figured this out so much before many other leaders in the conservative movement. Ray, tell us where to find you. Where do we find more information? What are some of the websites you want to point folks to?
Well, my original website is exodusmandate.org. That's exodusmandate.org, and we've been around nearly 25 years. And you can go there and see my interview with Dr. James Dobson in March of 2017, 2 days, and then he replayed it in December. And then I have an interview that I did at Liberty University during their Reformation Conference in 2017. And it's only 28 minutes long, and it's entitled What Once Was Can Be Again, Christian Education and the Reformation. And then more recently, you and I and Dran Reese and Duke Pesta teamed up to form publicschoolexit.com. And because of the leadership and the talent, and we know how great a lady Dran Reese is, I see that really being very influential in the next decade.
Excellent. Well, Ray, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for everything you've done for this movement. It's an honor to be a part of it with you. Folks, Lieutenant Colonel E. Ray Moore, one of the giants in the conservative movement, who's really been banging this drum before most of us knew that it had to be banged. And it's a privilege to have him here. Folks, check it out. Check out those websites, exodusmandate.org, publicschoolexit.com. We will come back to you with more from the New American very soon. Thanks for watching.